Today at the White House, Benjamin Netanyahu promised to eliminate all trade barriers with the United States and that Israel can be a model for other nations. So, will Israel be able to pave the way for more trade negotiations? Here to break it all down for us is investigative reporter Nick Sortor. So, Nick, thanks for joining us tonight. So, how big of a deal is this that Israel is going to get rid of all the trade barriers right now between the two countries?
Well, first of all, they shouldn't have been there to begin with. But unfortunately, with past presidents, they weren't willing to, hammer down the gauntlet on these people. And, we give countries like Israel billions and billions of dollars a year. Trump actually mentioned that today, that we give them, $4 billion a year. Why was there a tariff situation to begin with? And Trump, through these blanket tariffs, was able to get countries. It's up to 70 countries now. That Scott Besson just said minutes ago that have come to the table and called President Trump to strike a deal. Because as you saw with the markets today, every other market in the world essentially was down 8-10%. And U.S. equities essentially flat. The NASDAQ was actually even up today. So, we see now that Netanyahu in the Oval Office saying that they're going to remove not just the tariffs, they're going to remove trade barriers as well as closing the trade deficit effective immediately. I mean, this is a massive win. We're going to keep seeing this over the course of the next several days.
Yeah, Nick, that was my question, too. I mean, it seems like this is sort of a model. What we saw today with Netanyahu is sort of a model that hopefully is going to play out in the case of many nations throughout the globe. It seems like that's the trend. Do you agree?
Absolutely, it's the trend. I mean, you had Taiwan saying that they'll do 0 for 0. You had EU this morning, one of our largest trading partners that have, Trump said today that the EU was pretty much created just to screw us over on trade. And that's what they've been doing for decades and decades. And nobody has done anything about it. The difference here is we have a president that is willing to actually, follow through with the promises that he made on the campaign trail to bring back power to everyday Americans. And that's exactly what he is doing here. He has the European Union. That's pretty incredible. We're talking less than a week since he announced these tariffs, and people that were talking a big game before are now realizing that President Trump is not bluffing. Trump in the Oval Office said today that this is our chance. This is our only chance. He's not going to back down on this. You saw the news this morning, the fake news that came out saying that Trump was willing to do a 90-day pause. I don't see that coming. I mean, first of all, they said that that's fake news. The White House confirmed that's fake news. But I don't think he's going to back down on this, because even with all the doom and gloom, the hedge fund managers coming out and said, oh, this is the end. It's Black Monday. Jim Cramer saying that we were going to be down 20% today.
Yes.
They were wrong. Again, the elites were wrong.
I mean, to be fair, Jim Cramer, you can always kind of just go ahead and bet against it. But you know what? Something that's always a big deal is crude oil. And we saw that the tariffs, they're causing crude oil prices to fall to their lowest level in 4 years. Let's go ahead and watch Fox News as they break it down.
What we're not talking about is oil was $76, now it's $65. Gasoline prices are going to plummet. Any other time, that would be the number one story. In fact, if you go to the polls, what will get you elected as president? Much cheaper gasoline or Wall Street crying? I'm just being honest about it, right? So, yeah, people have these stocks in their 401ks. And guess what? We've been through it. There's a correction on average every year. There's a bear market every couple of years. I think most people are accustomed to that.
It's the economy, stupid, right? Like, when you go through it, how much do you think this could actually affect all the gas prices out there?
Oh, my gosh. I mean, we're down. I think crude oil prices are down 20% in the past week. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, how much of an impact does that have at the pump? They're at the lowest that they've been in 4 years. OK, it's the average run of the mill Americans are the ones that are benefiting from all of this. And that's why you see the hedge fund managers crying. The hedge fund managers don't cry when the middle class and lower class, working class Americans are getting screwed over. They're never going to cry over that, because then they're swimming in cash at that point. That big income divide that even the Democrats were talking about before, it's closing. This is not just talk. The Democrats run on a platform saying, well, we're going to save the working class. Trump is actually doing that, and it's tough to do that. I was sitting there watching him earlier in the Oval Office thinking, like, my God, the cojones on this guy, willing to take all the heat from the media, all the heat from these big investment firms, saying that the sky is falling and stuff, but he's still holding strong because at the end of the day, Trump knows who is going to benefit from this, and it's the American people, not the elites, not the global elites. They're going to suffer.
Yeah, Nick, it's awful surprising how it works because I've heard people say that we all need to suffer for the sake of the longer term good for a long time in various panics and, from 2008 during COVID, et cetera. And as everyone is sort of waking up to all this screaming and crying, it starts to look more and more performative, and it only works in one direction. And that was why it was hilarious today to me to see. I'd like to know your thoughts on Trump's talking about the panicking party. I mean, this might be something we see more of, but the panicking party. Tell us what your thoughts on that.
I mean, it was a classic Trump moment going out. He put out that post on Truth Social saying, "Don't be a panicking, don't be weak, be strong." Because it is like this is a little bit of a storm, but it's such a small period in what's going to be a long-term benefit for the United States. The panicking were made out to be fools today. All these big people, all these, people that you're supposed to listen to for financial advice and so on CNBC coming out, the sky is falling, and like nothing happened. Nothing happened. Everything is flat, like I said. And so the panicking once again, and Trump called this early on. This was early this morning when he made this post. Mm-hmm. And he was right. The panicking were wrong. And it only took a few hours for him to be proven right on that.
Well, Nick, when we last had you on the show, I want to go back to this because I know that your family members were part of that group when conservatives were being swatted. So I want to get an update on how they're doing and just anything that law enforcement may or may not have done since then.
Yeah, so I will say the FBI has been fantastic with keeping me up to date, telling me what's going on. They have said to sort of limit they have a lead. So they want me to limit, publicly what I say about it. But you can see me smiling and giddy over here because I know that they're about to nab this loser. So that's coming. And this is not something that the Biden FBI would have ever done, especially because it had to do with conservatives. And so the fact that this FBI is putting resources forward to actually take out the bad guys, these are terrorists. I mean, what they're doing, they're terrorizing people that are speaking out, and that these terrorists disagree with. So, they're trying to make it so that I shut up. Me and my fellow conservative commentators that have been suffering through this. And it's not working. If anything, it's brought my family more on board with, what I'm preaching. They realize that I'm over target on this stuff because if you're not over the target, you're typically not going to have people trying to terrorize you into silence. That's just how this stuff works.
Yeah, exactly. I'm curious your thoughts about this. I think one of the larger issues we're going to see, since we're all three of us in right-leaning media or non-regime media, whatever you want to call it, and a lot of the audience is understandably they want to see change right away. And so do I. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think we all do. You're an investigative reporter. I'm sure you've seen a lot of these controversies start to burgeon, they're growing all over. And I guess I want your thoughts on this because I'll just give you mine. I think people have to give the administration time because some people just got into the position or, are not even in position yet. There's not even full teams assembled. Then they got to figure out what to do with the mess. So on the one hand, I think we have to give, I'm mentioning this because like with the FBI, you got to give them the time to catch the bad guys. Don't, see some people complaining like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Well, it's not clear yet. You got to give them some time. And people like you are saying, no, they're doing a good job. On the other hand, though, of course, we want to hold the entire administration accountable for implementing that mandate.
Yeah, sure. And when I say that the FBI is doing a good job, I'm saying that the FBI is doing a good job on my case in particular. There are definitely things that I would like to be seen done quicker, I guess we'll say. I think Dan Bongino is going to be the biggest asset to the FBI by a long shot. And so if I trust anybody within the FBI, it's Dan Bongino right now. And he's been, pretty transparent as he's going to be allowed to be without, destroying investigations or giving the bad guys too much information. This guy has been a deep state marauder for years and years and years. I don't believe he is a patriot, Paytriot. I think that he actually, if he was, he's not in it for the money, not in it for the fame. He had all of that before. So why else would he be in it? I truly do believe in Dan Bongino. I wish that we were seeing something on the Epstein files. I feel like we were lied to by the DOJ over that. Just being totally honest. We were told that there were going to be shocking revelations, and it ended up being a binder given to influencers full of stuff that we had already been seeing for years. So I feel like there's got to be more to come out from that. I don't really know what we're waiting for, but I guess we'll give them a little bit more time. But the American people's patience are running out. I've spoken with run-of-the-mill middle Americans, out in the Midwest that are saying they ask the same question to me all the time. It's like, why haven't we seen any arrests? And I can't give them an answer because there's only so long they're going to be able to say, oh, well, they're working on it. They're working on it. We haven't really seen anybody perp walked at this point. And it's disappointing to a lot of Americans. If there's anything we got to prioritize, perp walking. At least one person that was involved in all of the billions and billions and billions of dollars of fraud that Doja's uncovered, or an Epstein client, or somebody. We haven't seen one, and people are getting fed up with it.
Nick Sortor, it's like you're reading my mind. We just need one. Just give us one or two, right? There's got to be some low-hanging fruit out there somewhere. You can put the big cases out there for the next few months, but come on, give us one.